Lucknow is called the city of Nawabs. Lucknow is also famous for its delicacy and culture. There are historical sites, religious places, universities and museums which have increased both the prosperity and fame of this city. A rich family of this city, whose fame is famous all over the country. Everyone knows and recognizes this family by name and fame. But the reality of this family is still being hidden from the eyes of the world. July 1990. It's been 10 days and the rain is not stopping. Even today it is raining since morning. The meteorological department has started evacuating many areas due to fear of flood. TV is on in a big room of Suryavashin Haveli. Many children aged between 8 to 15 years, including not a single girl, are sitting in front of the TV watching the news. All the children are happy. After the June holidays, the bad weather of July has extended their holidays. Amidst their laughter, a middle-aged man in white dhoti and kurta enters the room. On seeing him, the children's laughter turns into silence. Jerry Suryavashin is the eldest of the family and the grandfather of all these children. But these children do not have the right to call him grandfather. To get this right, they will have to fight a war. This war will not be against others but against each other. The child who wins the war will be awarded the inheritance of the house as well as all the relationships. The rest of the children, they will not get any rights in the family. They will only get responsibilities. The responsibility of being slaves to the heir. As soon as they saw Jerry, all the children looked down. Jerry took a look at all the children. His eyes stopped at an 11-year-old child. Dark complexion, very thin in stature, bones peeking out of the body, as if there was not a single grain to eat for months. There were many wound marks on the body, as if he had been beaten a lot. While moving his fingers, he would bring them near his eyes and then suddenly close his eyes. He had been repeating this process for the last hour as if Nazn was trying to figure out what to do. After looking at the child in silence for a while, Jayarya said in his serious voice, "Shivink, follow me." All the children together looked at Shivink sitting at the back, hidden from everyone's eyes. Shivink was a very calm and innocent child in appearance. Looking at him, it seemed as if he had nothing to do with the world. But the reality had nothing to do with his appearance. Didn't have to give, even though he had been losing to other children in the game of strength. No matter how many children till date, they had not been able to defeat him in the game of brains. Looking at Shivink, some children had fear in their eyes, some had concern for Shivink on their faces, and some children also had hatred and ridicule for Shivink in their eyes. Ignoring everyone, Shivink followed Jayarya. He was limping due to injury while walking, but there was no one there to support him. This was not the case only with Shivink. All the children in the house were in a similar situation. Every week a competition was organized among them. The competition was divided into many parts. The least victorious, or should we say defeated children, were given a punishment, and this punishment continued for the whole week. Since the age of 8, Shivink had been losing almost every competition. People who understood him thought that he lost the competition deliberately. But till date no one has been able to find out from him why he did so. Following Jayarya, Shivink reached a room, took off all his clothes before Jayarya told him to, and opened a door and went inside the room. The room was burning with coals from all sides. The heat of the fire was so high that it was difficult to stay there even for 5 minutes. Shivink sat silently in the middle of the room in a trance state and closed his eyes. Jerry, standing at the door, remained silent but kept looking at Shivink with his deep eyes. After some time he closed the door of the room. Then he said to the doorman standing nearby, "Keep an eye on the child. I want to see how long he can keep himself in this room." The doorman bowed his head and agreed. Jerry came back into the room. The children were surprised and upset after seeing him again. Usually, in the first 3 weeks of the month, only one child was punished, and in the last weeks, all the children were punished. The second week of July was going on. Jayarya changed the rules and sentenced all the children. There was sadness in the eyes of all the children who were enjoying the holidays. Meanwhile, a woman was being flogged in a closed room. The blow of the whip had torn the woman's clothes and injured her body. Many parts of the body had been injured due to the whipping and had left Chamki. The floor was red with blood. The whipping man was also exhausted, sweaty and bloody, but could not get a single tear out of this woman's eyes. This man was Bhairav Suryavashin, the middle son of Jerry Suryavashin. Bhairav had won the inheritance of the Suryavashin family by defeating all his brothers, but the woman sitting in front of him was questioning his victory. This woman, who had passion in her eyes even after being drenched in blood, was none other than Shulika, the wife of Bhairav's elder brother Baldev and mother of Shivink. Bhairav was tired. He took deep breaths and sat on the curtain lying nearby. But he did not get any relief. Rather, his anger and hatred towards Shulika increased with each passing moment. Shulika's body, which had remained as calm as ice for hours, finally stirred. Shulika looked into Bhairav's eyes. Their eyes met. Bhairav's eyes were spitting fire while Shulika's eyes were mocking him. Bhairav gritted his teeth and said, "I am asking you for the last time. Where have you hidden it? Where have you hidden it?" Samiksh, Shivink's twin elder brother. Samiksh also lived with Shivink in Suryavashin mansion for 6 years. But one day he suddenly disappeared. The guard guarding the bungalow had last seen Samiksh with Shulika. Bhairav had succeeded in locating Shulika, but he had not found Samiksh till date, nor had anyone been able to trace Samiksh from Shulika. Shulika laughed loudly at Bhairav's threat. Shulika made fun of Bhairav and said, "Since when did the heirs of the Suryavashin family start taking help of women to save their status? It seems that the Suryavashin family has made a mistake in testing their heir. You turned out to be an impotent person. Neither could you locate a child, nor could you make me open my mouth. You are that impotent person who only fucks his man in a closed room." Bhairav could not tolerate Shulika's insults. He wrapped a whip round Shulika's neck and strangulated her, and thus Shulika's unfinished business got destroyed with her death. But Bhairav did not stop at this. Shulika had questioned his masculinity. He had lost his temper in anger. After separating Shulika's clothes from her body, he quenched his lust with Shulika's dead body, and he did not stop until his anger subsided. While wearing his pants, he spit on Shulika's naked body and said, "You bitch, you wanted to see masculinity. You bitch, you are dead." While leaving, Bhairav kicked Shulika on the face. Due to the blow, Suleka's face hit the wall, and with this her open eyes closed. As soon as the door of the room opened, Baldev, standing outside, bowed his head before Bhairav. Even though he was older than Bhairav, age, relationships and decorum had no importance in the Suryavashin family. Yawning, Bhairav looked at Baldev. Then, removing the stiffness in his neck, he turned his head left and right twice and said to Baldev with a smile, "Sister-in-law was calling me impotent. If she had not spoken, I would have been alive today." On hearing this, Baldev's eyes widened, but as soon as Bhairav saw him, he again lowered his eyes. Bhairav said, "No one should know that I have killed him." You should think about what to say in front of father. And one more thing. Finish your son's matter as soon as possible. If you are not able to find someone in his place, bring the second child and place it in front of father. I will take care of the rest. Baldev agreed to everything Barav said like a slave. After Barav left, he came into the room. Shulika did not have a single piece of clothing on her body. There were only wounds and blood. Seeing this, Baldev's steps stopped. He kept looking at Shulika with empty eyes for a few seconds, and then he picked up the sheet from the bed of the room and covered Shulika's naked body. On the other hand, tears suddenly started falling from the closed eyes of Shivink, who had been sitting among the embers of the fire for 2 hours. But he did not open his eyes and fell unconscious in the room and fell on the hot floor.